It breaks my heart that some men will die having never had two beautiful women sucking his dick at the same time. Well, it's time to turn your woman into a lady cuck. My name is Stirling Cooper. I'm an award-winning adult film star, former high-class male companion, and I'm here to help you improve your sex life. In today's video, we're going to talk about cuckweening, which is the female version of being a cuckold. You might be familiar with the term cuck, right? It's kind of gone mainstream nowadays. Mainstream Western society is trying to normalize dudes being a cuck. They're trying to promote polyamory, but a version where it's one woman and multiple dudes. Normalizing guys marrying single mothers, like raising some other dude's kids and cuck shit like that. Normalizing dudes taking back a chick after she cheated on him. Screw that, okay? It's time to flip that narrative completely on its head. And it's time that we normalize you having multiple beautiful women at the same time. It's time we normalize multiple women sharing your love stick. Because I'm sure you have plenty of love to go around. Cuckweening is your new best friend. It's a secret fantasy you want to embed in your woman's mind and feed and encourage. So, you know, the idea of cuckolding or being a cuck for a dude is like, okay, like the dude who sits in the corner jerking off while some other dude's banging his missus, right? We're flipping that shit on its head. Cuckweening is basically the reverse of that. Cuckweening is when a woman eroticizes and gets off on seeing her man with another woman. Now, this is a fantastic frame, a fantastic fantasy to start playing around with, to start embedding in her head, start talking about, to start eroticizing, to lead to a threesome. You can't logic your way into threesomes. That's not really possible. Like, okay, maybe it's possible in like the swingers scene. Maybe it's possible if you have like a girl who is super, super down for that. But that's really very, very rare to find. Like those are the exceptions to the rule. My advice to you guys is typically aimed at the general rule, like what's going to work for the most women in most circumstances. And this is something I have tried and tested with success. So as an example, I might start introducing this idea to a woman I'm seeing by whispering something in her ear during sex. What I might whisper in her ear, in particular, is, I'm gonna tie you up, leave you in that corner over there, and make you play with yourself while you watch me fuck another woman. How fucking wet would that make you? That's just an example, right? So what am I doing there? I'm eroticizing, whilst I'm having sex with her, by the way, I'm eroticizing this idea of her watching me with another woman. And she's going to be playing with herself and touching herself at the same time. Now, if you want to learn exactly how to plant not just this kind of fantasy, but any kind of fantasy into your woman's subconscious, then you need to check out my video course, Dirty Talk 101. Links right here. Now, I can already hear in the comment section, the dude's been like, oh, that wouldn't work on my wife. Well, try that on my missus. Oh, she would slap me. She would hate that. Okay, negative Nancy's. Fucking relax for a second. The key to this is to sexualize it in her mind as a fantasy. So you're not just saying it at the dinner table when she's like, well, you're not saying it in the grocery store when she's out, you know, running around and she's in a different state of mind. You're saying this and you're embedding this into her head during the act of sex. That's where you're introducing this as purely a fantasy, because you can get away with it there, right? And that's when you start playing around with this fantasy, embedding this fantasy in her head, and that's how you can eventually lead this to a situation where you introduce another woman into the bedroom. You can do this by having your main chick, having another side chick, okay, inviting them both around on the same night. Ideally, here's the way I set up. I invite my main chick around first, like an hour or so before. We have, 20 minutes of sex or something like that. I don't come. And again, I reiterate this fantasy. I'm emphasizing this fantasy, whispering dirty shit in her ear, talking about this erotic fantasy of ours again. And then I schedule the other girl to come about an hour, like about 40 minutes after that. I tell her I have a surprise for her. I tell this girl I have a surprise for her as well. They both get there. I get this girl to sit down and masturbate, and I tie her up or whatever, get her to sit there being patient, and then when the second girl arrives, I strip her down, I make out with her, I walk her into the bedroom, and Bob's your uncle. We have a fantastic time. But the key with this is you kind of have to lead both these women into the scenario. They're free to leave, by the way, at any point. I'm not holding them there against their will. You know what I mean? Like I said, you can't logic your way into threesomes. You have to like lead them there. And here's how I know this, because when I've done this with women, when I tell a girl she's already there, she's naked, we've had sex for a little bit, and I tell her, I've got a surprise for you, I have another girl coming. They get this look on their face like they're super nervous and excited at the same time. But it's this kind of like insecure nervousness. Because here's what would happen. If I had told this girl prior to her coming over, hey, come over tonight, I'm gonna invite another girl. Here's what happened. She's gonna logic her way out of it. She's going to because she's just nervous and self-conscious. She's like, oh, I can't tonight, I'm on my period. Oh, I can't tonight, I look bad tonight. Oh, I'm a bit bloated. Oh, my hair isn't done, my nails aren't done. Because women are kind of really like self-conscious about how they look compared to other women. So she's gonna like logic her way out, even though she's bisexual, even though she's really, like we've talked about this fantasy, she's eroticized the fantasies and she's into it, she's still gonna try and like logic her way out of it purely because of nerves and stuff. So you have to override that by just leading and being unapologetic about it and holding frame. So when the second girl arrives, you got your first girl there, you tell her you're gonna turn her into a cuck queen, you're gonna put her in a corner, she's gonna watch her masturbate and get off on it. And you bring the second girl in, and again, tell her the same thing. I have a surprise for you. There's a girl waiting in the bedroom, tied up to watch us put on a show. It's another part of this little thing I do. And then she's gonna be all like, "What? This is so crazy. Why did you do this? You didn't tell me about this." Shh. Make out with her, strip her down to her underpants, walk her in the room, and have fun. Like you just lead them through the scenario. And this is the cuck queening fantasy, acted out in real life. Now, once you get into the bedroom, you're gonna have to know how to run a successful threesome. So check out this video right here where I go over that in detail.